Hello and a very warm welcome to World This Week by Latest Laws. This is our weekly program, so subscribe and press the bell icon to get notified. My name is Monica Rahar and let's get started by having a look at Supreme Court this week. So the first update that we have for this week is with respect to the CBSE Class 12th Board examination. A PIL has been filed before the top court against the cancellation of CBSE Class 12th Board exams. A Kerala-based teacher has filed this petition while claiming that scrapping of the exam will be an unfair decision for students. The Apex Court on Friday has stayed the recent order passed by the Allahabad High Court, wherein the High Court suggested several measures to be taken for development of medical infrastructure in the state, while observing that the entire healthcare system in villages of the state, it was Ram Bharose, or to say at the mercy of God. A vacation bench at the top court has stated that High Court should consider looking into the possibility of implementation while passing any directions and should refrain from passing any such direction which is not implementable. A PIL has been filed before the top court seeking direction to central and other state governments to initiate a priority-based vaccination drive for journalists, media personals and their family members against COVID-19 and to consider them as frontline workers. The PIL has also sought direction to grant a compensation amount of Rs 20 lakh to the next kin of those journalists or media personals who have lost their lives to COVID-19 while being on duty. The Apex Court on Friday has upheld provisions of Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code on Insolvency of Personal Guarantor brought in by the Union government in 2019. The top court had earlier transferred to itself the petitions challenging notifications dated 15th November 2019, which brought the above provisions in force, along with a number of rules on the insolvency resolution process for personal guarantors to corporate debtors. The ruling will now allow lenders to pursue insolvency proceedings against promoter guarantors of companies facing the corporate insolvency resolution process. The top court has also witnessed filing of a PIL this week for a direction for probe into the BJP's allegation of a toolkit and suspension of registration of Congress party if charges against it for indulging in anti-national acts and playing with lives of the people were found to be true. Amidst the whole political conundrum over CBI arresting West Bengal ministers, the Apex Court on Tuesday sought Mamata Banerjee-led government's response within a week to a PIL by the legal representatives of 2 of the 18 murdered BJP workers. The PIL has sought a court-monitored SIT or CBI probe into the post-election violence that was allegedly unleashed by the TMC workers in the state of West Bengal. Now let's proceed to the next segment of our news analysis and have a look at the Delhi High Court this week. The Delhi High Court on Thursday directed the State Bank of India to ensure that it opens the accounts of NGOs under Foreign Contribution Regulation Act within a period of 10 days of receiving approval from the centre. The direction was issued by a bench of Justice Rekha Plea after the court was informed by some NGOs that despite receiving approval from the centre, the bank was delaying opening their accounts. The High Court, while hearing a plea on Friday, observed that there is a need for beds to be reserved in hospitals for people of certain categories like the President and the Prime Minister. A bench of Justice Vipin Sanghi and Justice Jasmeet Singh, while hearing a plea seeking fair and transparent system for the allocation of beds to COVID-19 patients in hospitals in the national capital, tagged the petition with other matters related to COVID-19 issues being heard by the bench. The High Court has issued notice to the Registrar of National Company Law Appellate Tribunal on a plea seeking direction to respondents to modify their revised standard operating procedure dated January 1 by allowing only e-filing in view of the current COVID situation. On Thursday, a bench of Justice Rekha Plea, while issuing notice to the registrar, stated in I quote, "I find prima facie case and merit in the submissions of the petitioner, since none appears on behalf of the respondent, no orders in this regard are being passed at this stage." The High Court has asked the Principal Secretary Health of Delhi government to examine the issue of price cap on hospital charges. A division bench of Justice Vipin Sanghi and Justice Jasmeet Singh had stated, and I quote, "It is no doubt that whatever decision is being taken, it will be a balanced decision taking in view the interest of all stakeholders, the nursing homes, patients and consumers." The High Court has refused to grant an interim stay on the clinical trial of Covaxin in children in the age bracket of 2 to 18 years. The court, however, has issued notices to the Drug Controller General of India and others on a plea challenging the Drug Controller's approval to Bharat Biotech for conducting clinical trials of Covaxin in children. Now in the next segment, let's have a look at the Bombay High Court this week. A division bench of the court has stated that it was disheartened and disappointed with the centre's insensitivity and with Mumbai civic body for not starting door-to-door COVID-19 vaccination for senior citizens, specially abled, bedridden and wheelchair-bound people. The court reiterated that centre needs to rethink its policy that states that door-to-door inoculation drive it was not possible due to various reasons, including the possibility of wastage of vaccines and the probability of adverse reaction to the vaccine. The court on Friday has directed state prison authorities to ensure that prisoners who have been taken to a hospital for checkup should be given their medical reports, the test results and medicines prescribed because it is their right under Article 21 of the Indian Constitution. The court further directed the prison authorities to allow the prisoners to make a call to an approved family member after the hospital visit. Now coming up next is the segment of Uttarakhand High Court where the court has made pertinent remarks about the mishandling and management of COVID situation in the state by the government. On Thursday, the High Court, commenting on the Mahakumbh Mela and the Char Dham Yatra, stated that the government is causing embarrassment to its very own people and questioned the state government as to why the state cannot learn from its mistake. The bench, comprising Chief Justice R.S. Chauhan and Justice Alok Kumar Verma, remarked, and I quote, "First we make mistake of Kumbh Mela, then there is Char Dham. Why do we repeatedly cause embarrassment to ourselves?" The Chief Justice further went on to remark, and I quote, "At least I feel embarrassed when my colleagues start calling me up and say what is happening to the state. I have no explanation because naturally I am not a decision maker. But I'm surprised those of you who are the decision makers are leaving it so carelessly as if it does not bother anyone's soul anymore." Now let's proceed to the Calcutta High Court. The Calcutta High Court, while dealing with issues pertaining to the post-election violence that ensued in the state of West Bengal, has directed that numerous complaints which were registered with the NHRC, the West Bengal Human Rights Commission, the National Commission for Women, and also with the National Commission for Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribe, to be forwarded to the Director General of Police, West Bengal, immediately. The High Court has deferred hearing in a case filed by the CBI against bail given to TMC leaders who were arrested by the agency in the Narda sting tape case due to unavoidable circumstances. A division bench of the court was hearing an application by the CBI to transfer the bail applications from the special CBI court to the High Court, citing unprecedented mob pressure by the supporters of the jail leaders. We need to understand that the Chief Minister of West Bengal, Mamata Banerjee herself, along with the Law Minister of the state, have been made parties to the case filed by CBI. The court has held in a matter that arbitral reward claim they get extinguished once the resolution plan is accepted by the National Company Law Tribunal. Now let's proceed with the miscellaneous segment of our news analysis. On Friday, the government of Goa has stated that it is going to approach the High Court against Tarun Tejpal's acquittal in 2013 sexual assault case. A sessions court on Friday acquitted the ex-Tehelka editor-in-chief who was accused of assaulting a former female colleague inside the elevator of a luxury hotel in Goa in the year 2013 during the ThinkFest event which was organized by the magazine itself. On Thursday, the Supreme Court Collegium recommended the elevation of Justice Sanjay Yadav as the Chief Justice of Allahabad High Court. Justice Sanjay Yadav has been serving as the acting Chief Justice of Allahabad High Court since April 14, 2021. On Thursday, the Saket Court of Delhi refused to extend the police remand of businessman Navneet Kalra, who is accused in a case related to the alleged hoarding of oxygen concentrators in South Delhi. The court sent him to judicial custody. The CBI has filed a corruption case against U.S. Avasthi, who is the managing director and the CEO of Indian Farmers Fertilizer Cooperative, for their alleged discrepancies in import of fertilizers and also some discrepancies which were cited in claiming subsidies. The Bar Council of Delhi has made an appeal to senior advocates, established and renowned advocates, law firms to give generous donations to aid advocates in need in this dire time of COVID-19 crisis. Now let's proceed with the last segment of our news analysis, which is the international news. A consortium of Indian banks led by the State Bank of India have made progress in their attempt to recover debt from Kingfisher Airlines after the High Court in London upheld an application to amend their bankruptcy petition in favor of waiving their security over the businessman's assets in India. So the Insolvencies and Companies Court ordered, and I quote, "I order that permission be given to amend the petition to read as follows. The petitioners, that is the banks, having the right to enforce any security held are willing, in the event of a bankruptcy order being made, to give up any such security for the benefit of all the bankrupt's creditors." Attorneys for the state and for 3 former Minneapolis police officers charged in George Floyd's death, they appeared before the Minnesota Court of Appeals on Thursday as prosecutors sought to add an additional charge to the case. That's all we have for this week. In case you need more information with respect to any of these news stories, you may refer to the description section. And thank you for being with us.